Hey, what is up, guys? It is your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with another commentary. Welcome to episode 6 of the STiKS, and finally, it has happened. I have a co-host today. I got my boy, Smitingfatty, and I'm going to introduce him in a second, but basically we're going to run through some topics for you guys. I'm going to get some of his feedback, and you guys get in the comments and go crazy. Make sure you check out Smitingfatty's YouTube channel and his Twitter. I'm going to put all that in the description for you guys so that you can check him out, give him some subs, show him some love. Fatty, you want to say hello?
What's going on, guys? This is Smiting Fatty, and I just wanted to say thank you, man, for having me here.
Oh, no
I
problem.
love your videos. I love your content. So it's kind of cool to be around.
No problem, man. And I like the optic beard you got rocking there.
Oh, it's not quite the luxury of the optic beard. I mean, Flame Sword, I saw that thing in person. It was like, oh, I just want to touch it. It's so beardy. But no, I'm actually trying to be the optic goat. I just want to grow the goat part. But my wife hates it, so it's probably gonna be gone by the time Niagara rolls around. We'll see.
Oh, come on! You got to put some color on there.
It'll probably be like this. It'll be like a big chip on my face.
You got to put some color on it and do like if SB wins COD Champs, paint it purple and then cut it off. Yeah, just so we can all see it.
I'll do it for charity.
There you go. Do it for charity. You probably have enough hair to donate, like on your chin.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody wants like the
chin hairs,
the face pubes on their head.
Yeah, so, probably not. All right, so we got a bunch of topics to cover today, so let's get into them. So the first thing is the roster changes, and I know I had an interesting question for you, but basically, roster mania, quiet as kept, has started to happen with some of the smaller teams that didn't make it to COD Champs, and it looks like Slacked, Huddle, Spacely, and Saint they made up the team Vex, and I believe that the deadline was a couple days ago to make your roster for Anaheim, and so a lot of teams were just like fighting at the end to like, we got to get a roster, we got to put something together, and so Miyagi and Enable that left Denial joined Spacely and John to make up Vanquish. Now, my question for you, before I even go for the rest of these, because I feel like John is such a talented player, but he keeps joining these teams that don't really have long-term potential. I mean, when he joined Evil, I actually thought Evil had a chance, and then Optic smacked him, and I was like, oh, okay. At Anaheim last year, and it was like, oh, this team, they're going to break up. This isn't going to be successful. But they had a promising roster. They looked like Evil was about to be a really good team and maybe be that next kind of impact, but I guess they just didn't work out together. But what do you think John is making these decisions because he wants to be on a smaller, lesser-known team, or is he just, are teams like your Optics, your Envies, your Complexities, I mean, are these larger teams like TK and Just and even the Curse organizations like Curse LV, like what is it that is preventing those teams from picking up a good player like John?
Well, one thing is, I believe John was on Curse, one of the Curse teams, and he ended up leaving to go to Denial. So
yeah, that's such a weird.
I believe that's true, and it wasn't long lived. But I just think he's a quiet guy, and I think sometimes he feels like people abuse him, maybe. And I've never talked to him about this. But it happens to quiet people all the time. I mean, you got quiet people in the workplace, and usually they end up snapping and killing somebody. But instead, John just leaves and changes teams. So that's one of my philosophies. But either way, John is such a gifted, talented player.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ghost is quite his game, but Black Ops 2, he was right up there with the best of the Slayers as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, I don't know. But I hope he does find a great team because, like I said, dude is just gifted. And he's also really nice, really humble.
Yeah, he seems that way.
That's what I like to see.
And I think he deserves kind of like that chance that Study got, on Envy. He deserves a chance on a bigger team, and I think that what I was talking to somebody about the other day, I think it was Goalie, the producer of the STiKS, I was talking to him about the fact that I think John had his chance on Black Ops 2. He didn't really get anything from it, and his next chance is going to be the next Call of Duty, as long as Sledgehammer makes us something that's really playable. And he's going to, I think he can shine on the next Call of Duty. And I'm just hoping that with all the roster craziness that's going to happen after COD Champs, I hope he finds himself on a squad that actually is, in a position to win, to actually take home a championship. I mean, and I'm not saying that Spacely, Miyagi, and Abel and John aren't going to be a good team. They may be one of those sleeper teams, kind of like, Sigma was when Saint was on there, and they stole like a 2K from a whole bunch of large teams. But I don't see them as we're going to walk home with a championship. I don't see them beating a Complexity or a TK or even an Optic Gaming. And Optic is, they're having their struggles right now. So it looks like Chino, and there hasn't really been any reason released yet, has been released from Curse Youth and is now a free agent. So I think he's going to have to play through that amateur bracket if he wants to play for the Anaheim, the 192 teams. He's going to have to play in there. And then Curse Youth, they picked up Diabolic from Adversity. And then of course Neslo, he decided to stay with Justin. I thought it was funny how he reported that, because I saw a tweet where somebody asked
Big Snacks?
Yeah, they asked Big Snacks.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah, I asked Big Snacks. I'm like, hey, who you guys running with? Because Neslo's gone in. And he's like, or no, who you have playing for Neslo? And Big Snacks is like, Neslo's playing for Neslo. And then like an hour later, Neslo tweeted and said, yeah, I'm playing for me. I'm going to be with them until PAX or something like that.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to grind with this team until PAX. And I think that, players, I honestly think that this new, and you're going to have to, I'm going to have to ask you some questions about this thing, because I've watched, Gandhi's video on it. I've read the Esports Nation report on it. I still am confused about this whole new layout that MLG is doing, but it looks like it is causing players to actually think about leaving teams, because right now there's a couple players like Killa who are kind of just out in the open and now have to like play through the amateur bracket because they're not on one of these 10 teams that's in the pro circuit, and I'm confused. I saw Parasite tweet out today. He said something like, in 8 days, total domination begins, and he hashtagged Curse Mob. And so I'm guessing he's talking about after COD Champs, because Curse isn't in COD Champs at all. None of their teams are. And so I know I asked you earlier, but if you could briefly, in any way, explain to me what impact this whole thing is having on Killa and why he has to play through the amateur bracket, even though he has a grip of pro points, but I guess that doesn't matter anymore, or how is that working?
All right, so we got to go back, back a ways.
Okay.
So we have this problem, and we've continued to have this problem where organizations, say like Curse or Denial or any organization, they have to pretty much pay for the pro points. They have to pay the entry into all these tournaments for their teams, right? Yeah. So Curse was paying for Killa for a while, and before that it was whoever, Unite, and then before that it was Farico, or whoever's paying for it. Well, what happens when the whole team up and leaves an organization?
Yeah.
They're out of the money. I mean, and it's not like 2Ks are cheap or 5Ks are cheap.
Yeah.
It ends up being like $30 a player. So organizations are paying $120 every weekend or more, depending on how much they play.
Yeah.
So all these guys got mad. All these organizations got mad, and they're like, they go to Puckett, they go to Sundance, or whoever, and say, like, how is this fair to us that we're paying all this money and they leave? And so MLG is saying, well, we got to fix that.
Yeah.
And so now they're saying the league is kind of like the NFL, where you have teams that are on there.
Mm-hmm.
Now the teams don't necessarily aren't. So instead of teams, it's organizations that are in the league. Like, that's how you have to think of it.
Okay.
So then, the players play for the organization, but you have to be, with Optic, to play, or you have to be with Curse right now. So as long as those organizations are in there, they'll be good. Now, how Adam can come up is he can go to Anaheim, place in the top 4, and then he will be in season 3 of this league. So, and then, whatever team decides to sponsor him will end up being the team affiliate, not team, but organization
affiliated
sponsors. Yeah, they will be the ones in the league.
So he can't. Can he be picked up by one of the organizations that's already in the league? Like if, let's say, FaZe Classic breaks a finger, and because I know they're gonna have that draft, and couldn't he be one of the subs for or something like that? Like when they have the free agent draft, can he join an organization that's already in and play? Like if they drop a player from Just and they pick up Killa, let's say Neslo does leave, can they pick up Killa and then Killa is now back in the pro circuit?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so and that's how that'll work. And if you ask me, they're not drafting enough players. I think they said the top 150. It should be at least 250. But at the same time, it's hard because who's going to go out and scout each 150 of these players and know that they're going to fit?
Yeah.
And what are these players going to be doing behind the scenes to make a bad name for your organization? I don't know. But Killa will be able to be picked up by one of those teams, and I guarantee he will be one of the first picks out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people would have to be dumb not to want to draft him, and whoever drafts him will be fortunate. And then, say Neslo does leave Justice, well, then he could fill that place if they drafted him, or they could trade for him, maybe trade 2 second rounders for a first rounder and then one in next year's draft.
That's going to be crazy. It's so interesting that we're talking right now not about the NCAA or the NBA or the NFL. We're talking about Call of Duty having a draft. I think the one thing I can say about MLG that I appreciate is that they're solutions oriented. One of the biggest problems, one of the biggest issues that I had with MLG when I started really looking into competitive gaming is that there was these guys, like I would watch Hastro. I watched him one time at Gfinity. There was a thing they did. It was at I think 2, but maybe at Gfinity 1. And there was a thing where Hastro and 3 other dudes, Brycey was one of them, they were in this room, and it was called the Red Room or something, and they talked for maybe over an hour. And I watched the entire video. I don't know whose channel it was on, maybe the Gfinity channel. I watched this whole video, and some of the things Hastro was saying, I was kind of like, I hope that some of this happens. And it was when Adderall was a big problem, and Hastro was talking about, he's like, I'll be the police if I have to. He was like, but we have to make it so that we can be confident that this game is fair and that people are playing fairly.
Yeah.
And then they went into the trading, they went into roster changes, they went into what it means to organizations when players leave. And has anybody in competitive Call of Duty been as affected as much as Hastro by roster changes? No.
Well, yeah,
this dude, gosh. I mean, Envy was literally, can you pinky swear that you're going to stay on Envy, please? Can you pinky swear? Come on, Scump, give us a pinky swear that you're not going to leave. It was bad for a minute, and it all, what people don't realize, they ask me why I talk about Optic so much, but literally every major roster change was a chain reaction from Optic Gaming's roster changes. And the 5 or 6 that took place over a 1-month period at Optic that caused this train wreck in roster changes. And I think that I feel sorry for Killa. I really do. I hope he gets back. I'm sure he'll get back on a top team. But I really appreciate that MLG is being solutions-oriented with all of this. And they're trying. Pro players are going to complain. The community is going to come up with, oh, this is stupid. And, but they're trying to create a framework that can support competitive Call of Duty Esports for the future and for the long haul. And so I can't really complain about that.
Well, and I'm not going to lie. I was like, what the heck are you guys doing? You guys are ruining everything. But then when I sat back, I watched some of the videos. I actually wrote an article about it, and I was still, I don't want to sit, I was kind of agitated. I'm just like, I just don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then, I talked to Blevins, Blev Dog, he's a good friend of mine, and he was like he just said, I don't think you see the big picture yet. And, he was right. I did not see the big picture, and I finally, dug in a little bit more, and now I have an understanding.
Yeah.
And, a lot, when you finally understand something, it makes sense.
It's like, aha. The light bulb comes
I
on.
may not agree with everything, but the fact that they want to push forward and have a great, like organization. They want to build just a big franchise that supports Call of Duty. And whoever, if you can't see that, then you need to reevaluate the way you're looking at things, and which I had to do. So
it's a good point. I concur. My name is Kingdom Soldier, and I support this message. I agree 100%. And where's this article? Is this posted somewhere that you wrote?
Yeah, it's on COD Esports TV.
COD, is it like .tv or something?
I think it's COD Esports TV. Wait, yeah, COD Esports.tv.
Okay, well, I'll have to go check that out, and you guys go check that out as well.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I just write articles.
You just send articles off to places and hope that they use it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on from roster changes. The pro circuit. It looks kind of like the top 6 teams have been chosen, and the teams that are going to go to PAX East in Boston. It looks like because this. For those of you that have been under a rock, the way that this pro circuit is ending is that it's ending at PAX East after COD Champs, and it's going to be a LAN tournament with just the top 6 teams from this tournament. So 4 teams are going to be watching from home, and one of the teams is a surprise to me, but we'll talk about that in a second. So FaZe, of course, is just they're handedly winning this. Their record right now, it looks like 23-10. They're on a 6-series win streak right now. Their win percentage is over 60%. Of course, Complexity shares that with them. Complexity, actually, even though they're in second, has a better map win percentage than FaZe, probably because they've won more maps, or they had to play more maps in order to get their second place position. They could still finish first place, but FaZe and Complexity are pretty comfortably in first and second, and I thought this was amazing. I mentioned it in, I think, the last episode of the STiKS, that I think can affect COD Champs if Complexity plays this well on LAN, but their Blitz record
is unreal.
Is 26-7. They've won 26 out of 33 Blitz maps, and I'm mind blown by that statistic. FaZe's search and destroy record is amazing as well, but I'm mind blown by the fact that these guys have figured out Blitz in such a way. And what I said, and you can kind of share your opinion on it, but what I said in my last STiKS episode is that the same way that Impact was able to get all the way to the finals of COD Champs last year is because they were so hard to beat in hardpoint. They were so good at hardpoint, it was intimidating to play against them because they were beating teams, they were keeping teams in the 100-point club like it was easy. Slight work is the new term. They were making slight work of teams, and they were keeping them in the 100-point club and playing at such a high level with hardpoint. And I think Complexity may have figured out the formula. They may have figured it out, and maybe it's Karma. Maybe he's the key factor, is his little, roaming submachine gun role. But, whatever it is they're doing, whatever Complexity is doing as a team, they have figured out a way to be successful on Blitz. Now, on LAN, can they be successful? They were at regionals. They just didn't go all the way. They got surprisingly 3-0'd by SB, and that put them in too deep of a hole to dig themselves out of. But they did get second place. They fought all the way back. So I'm thinking personally that it can have an impact. That their 26 out of 33 Blitz maps can have an impact if they play that well at COD Champs. And it's so hard to LAN, and online is so different in this game. It's almost night and day. This host advantage is so huge, and so we've got LV at 3rd, TK at 4th, SB at 5th, and Envy at 6th. And so Justice Pro they have a slim chance of taking over Envy's spot and taking that 6th place spot from Envy. But Envy would have to lose pretty considerably, a couple of matches in a row, for Just to slide in there, and Just would have to keep winning. But it's pretty clear that Curse NY, Curse Youth, and surprisingly slipped all the way into last place Optic Gaming with a 9-21 record in the pro circuit. It looks like those 3 teams for sure are going to be watching PAX East from home. Have you been able to catch any of these matches, and what do you think is going on with Optic, with their online? I know they've been complaining about connection and stuff, but is it bigger than that?
I don't know. But I've watched a few of the matches. Optic, I really thought this lineup would be awesome, and I don't know if Scump not being at the house, or I don't know if his internet is great at his house. I don't know what's going on there, but I like the way Clayster has taken over as the leader.
Yeah,
he's obviously the vocal leader.
Yeah,
I do think though that they kind of need some. I don't want to say attitude adjustment because I love the guys at Optic. But it seems like once something goes wrong, they're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like, the connection's not working. They just need to step it up, get over those things, and start winning. But I don't know. There's, I heard from the grapevine that Scumpy was engaged. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah, I heard from the grapevine as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's so many factors. Heck, that house could be getting DDoSed every 5 seconds for as long as I know. And if you can do it in ways to where it only will make you lag, it won't necessarily hit you off. And so that could be happening, and maybe that's causing the lag. Either way, all I know is when I shoot somebody like 15 times and then in the kill cam it shows me shoot once, I get pissed. So I can feel their pain. But either way, it's FaZe. Really, FaZe is the team we should be talking about. They are on an epic run.
Yeah.
And complexity. Their blitz has always been good. Like I'd love to know all time what their record is, because I bet you it's somewhere in the 80 to 90 percentile of games they've won.
Yeah,
they're absolutely amazing.
It'd probably be up in the 80%. I mean, Freight Blitz, they don't really lose. Like, I think it was one of the Optic players was like, when Freight Blitz comes up, you veto it. You don't even have to. You don't think about it. You make sure that your Blitz map is not Freight when you play against Complexity. And they've gotten to that point with Blitz where 26-7.
That's crazy.
That is just ridiculous. And I think for me, this FaZe, everybody was saying like JCap and Proofy can't play together and all this kind of stuff. FaZe has figured it out, and I've said it before. I will say it again. FaZe Classic. Just watch out for this guy. He came on the scene as a friend of Replays that just was a friend. He was like a local guy that played with him on the sticks. And when FaZe first picked him up, it was like, wait, you're putting your friend on your professional Call of Duty team? And Classic has showed up. He's been consistent. He's done his job, and he's getting better and better and better. And this FaZe squad, it's a I questioned Proofy's decision to leave Envy when he left, just because he'd been there so long. He was like the nade shot of Envy. He was becoming that kind of like that brand solidified, and now it's Rambo, but he was becoming that, the face of the brand of Team Envious, and he just got frustrated, with Scump coming and going and all the roster trades. And I think that he found himself a nice home where FaZe, they know how to win, and they want it. Like, these guys, I don't think anybody wants it more than Proofy and JCap, because of the experiences they've had. The experience that JCap had at Optic, being there for only 5 minutes, and getting dropped. And then the experience that Proofy had being frustrated with Envy. I mean, these dudes are playing out of their shoes. And Classic is just like, hey, what do you guys need me to do? I'll do it. He's not going to complain. He's new to the scene, and he's just soaking it all in like, this is great. It's almost like when Imbos got picked up by Optic. It's like, this is. I remember his first video, or when I interviewed him, I asked him, I said, so what's it like with the green wall? He was like, man, I just keep refreshing Twitter, and it's like follow. And he's like, and then I keep refreshing YouTube, and it's like subscribe. And me and this guy, I'm kind of jealous. Me and Imbos both had 13,000 subscribers like 2 months ago, and within a month, Imbos is at like 40, 50,000. And so for me, I was kind of like, oh man. Just the green wall, the Optic power just took him off, and but I'm happy for the guy, and I think FaZe Classic, I'm happy for him as well. And yes.
What's this? The one.
You can't play that.
No, what is that?
You can't play it. Don't worry about
it.
Okay. He's trying to play. I have like a zombie hunter game on my Kindle. And I don't let him play stuff like that. It's like Call of Duty, but it's like you run, it keeps you running, and you just kind of dodge and shoot zombies. And he wanted to play it. So I'm sure he'll play like, what's that, Subway Surfers or something like that. So I'm happy with how they did the pro circuit. It turned out better than some of the predictions people were making, like it's online and what kind of practices is really going to be. I will say, connection sucks, but I am really shocked that Optic is where they're at. They've had their host advantage and they've lost on host advantage a lot, and only winning 9 matches out of the 30 they've played. This roster, like you said, seems like a roster that would have done better than that in my mind. So let me ask you a really hard question just on the fly. Didn't even tell you we were going to talk about this. But if you had to pick right now, if you had to pick a top 4 teams for COD Champs, you don't have to give me first, second, third, fourth, but what teams would you put in top 4?
Complexity. How could you not? I mean, that's just how could you not? I'm not saying they're going to win, but they're just good.
Yeah.
Shoot. FaZe would have to be up there.
Bold decision. All right. FaZe, complexity.
Well, just because they did pretty dang good at the regionals, too. I mean,
they did.
They might have got taken out right at the beginning, but
they got 4th.
Yeah. I think could do really well. I think
that's
a dark horse pick.
Okay.
And then I don't know if it'll happen. I want to see one of the UK teams do good. So I'm thinking who I just lost.
Epsilon, TCM.
TCM. I think TCM with Mad Cat on that roster is absolutely scary. Epsilon is also, a really good team. I don't know much about those the Brazilian team, or there's a team from Mexico, the Aztec something. I don't know much about them.
Yeah.
Another team that everybody overlooks is from Canada, Revenge. They've almost taken Optic out a couple times.
Is that Nexus team?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Next
okay.
Revenge. So it used to just be Revenge, but now I think it's Next Revenge. But
so
that's a good squad as well. But yeah, if I was a betting man and I was putting money on one team right now, I don't know how anybody would not put money on Complexity.
So and I'm in a similar boat. I'll tell you my top 4 in a second, but you don't have SB in your top 4. You don't have TK in your top 4, and you don't have Envy in your top 4.
Yeah.
But you're going with you.
Well,
I know it's hard.
It's hard. TK is another team. I should have mentioned them. I have their jersey right there. But,
hopefully Sharp doesn't watch this video. He watches some of my videos.
I hope not. He'll step on me or something. He's tall.
He's gonna make you rock a mullet with the
That's
the beard.
actually Theory's jersey, right?
Oh, nice.
I can't. Yeah,
Theory, he's the. I think what did they say? He's the #1 domination capper or blitz capper or something. I heard Benson say that on your stream. He said he said Theory is the #1. I think it's domination in North America in the pro circuit right now. He's the #1.
Yeah, he has some crazy weird stat that
it's ridiculous. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, but TK is the team I think absolutely could win. They just need to get over just that hump. SB, they are a damn good team. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Damn good team. I think if they go up against Complexity again, Complexity will have their number. Because for some reason, I watched Complexity play, and to me, they were holding back. I don't know what it was. They weren't doing some of the things they typically do, at least in when I've watched. I just think they're gonna bring something out that's gonna absolutely blow everybody's mind. Like some sort of weird Mr. X strat. And you know what I mean? Like it just something about them that weekend wasn't right. And I don't know if it's there wasn't a super big amount of money on the line or or if they probably been partying too much. I don't know.
So
it just seemed like they weren't.
No, that was Envy that was partying too much. They actually admitted that. Yeah. But I can tell you this, Complexity, it was the fact that Matt Morello was in the stands and not in the booth. That has changed their game a little bit. But they've been able to practice with this online stuff. And I think that as well what they were saying, what Karma was saying is that, I think it was on Twitter, he was saying that they're the new, I'm saying this part, they're the new Impact. People actually studied the way they played. And they countered Complexity, and SB did that better than anyone. SB
was awesome.
They stepped up with strats that Complexity wasn't ready for, and it was counter. It's almost like when a team in the NBA. Can you stop running back and forth, James? It's like a team in the NBA when they develop a strategy against the Heat, which is why they went to 2 Game 7s last year to win the finals. And so I think for Complexity, it shocked them. It was almost like, whoa. And normally we see Complexity go down 2-1 or 2-0, and that's meaningless. They come back and win a whole series, And so it just didn't happen against SB. And so if I had to say my top 4, I wouldn't put Rise in there. I would definitely put Complexity. You are 100% correct. You can't not. They're too good
TK
of a
is pretty
team.
much there too.
TK, definitely I'd put them in there. I think they're one of a few teams that could beat and dethrone Complexity. Yes, I know SB beat them at a LAN. Somebody's going to say that in the comments right now. But as well, I think that SB, I think it was a good day for them. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. If they have a bad day, if they lose a match, which they didn't do at regionals, if they lose a match, we don't know what their composure is going to be like. We have no idea, if Censor's going to go crazy. Because we've heard SB when they're on a losing streak, and they just can't even talk to each other. Like Dito and Censor both kind of shut down, and it becomes a challenge to watch them play, And normally Saints and Apathy are just kind of trying to pull it together, but Censor's very strong personality, Dito very strong personality, and when they're doing well, those two, they become the hype men. They become like, just like having when we had Clayster on the same team as Aches, you have them two yelling and just, like, let's go, and I think that I would have to. Gosh, it's so hard not to put SB up there. So I'd go with Complexity, TK. I'm going to also put a dark horse, but my dark horse is going to be a little more predictable than your Rise, and I'm going to say Epsilon. I think they could finish top 4. I think I put them top 5 in my last prediction video. And 4th is going to be FaZe. So I'm not going to put SB in the top 4 either, even though they won the last LAN. What'd you say?
I said it's hard. It's hard to pick these guys, especially, like Rise. Who saw Rise or SB? Like when I got my bracket, and I kind of filled it out, and I didn't really publicize it because I didn't actually fill it out. I just kind of wrote down stuff, and I said, well, this will be the top 8, and I didn't have Rise or SB in there, and they came through and pretty much demolished everybody. Like who would have said that? Okay, so a year ago, Impact wins. If you came up to me and said, I'll bet you $1,000 right now that they will not be going to Champs next year. That at least three of the 4 players won't be going to Champs next year. I would have said, okay, let's do it. If you would have said, I'll give you $1,000 and $10, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
I would have taken that bet 3 weeks ago.
Exactly. Before regionals, everybody would have taken that.
Yeah.
And, Vegas loses to Curse NY, who is a really strong team. Nobody should have ever overlooked that.
Yeah.
But, and then what was it? Rise they lost to in the first round? I can't remember.
Who? LV?
LV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and Rise won a couple of those games where it was like, I don't think they're going to win it, and that team is just solid. So it's a scary, scary team.
You're right that I think Rise is a good squad. I have to bet on consistency, and so that's the only reason why TK is the most besides Complexity, is the most consistent team, the second most consistent team in Call of Duty right now. And I've said the stat so many times, but it's just amazing because we say, Complexity's finished number 1 or number 2 in the last however long, and since TK's existed, and I believe it's 6 LANs that they've played in, they finished 4th once and 3rd or 2nd every other time. And so they're a top 4 team. They haven't shown us that they can't finish in the top 4, and so they know how to get themselves through a tournament and get to the top 4. So they're going to be in the money. We know that for sure at COD Champs. They're not going to be one of these LVs or NYs or, Optic was even facing elimination. It's not – I don't think it's going to be that way for them. And, we'll see. We'll see. You guys can put your top 4 in the comments. All right. So we're going to end this on this last topic because I think we're at like 40 minutes or something. I might have to make this a 2-part video. But so the last topic, and I know it's near and dear to you, and I made a video on it, and it's the DramaAlert finding its way to MLG.TV. And interesting decision. I still don't believe MLG has publicly said anything. Puckett did tweet out my video and say that it was a good video and all this kind of stuff, and I don't know if he was trying to kind of help the public understand what the decision they made, but no one, and I asked a guy, I Skyped with one of the dudes at MLG, and he said, Puckett's probably the best person to ask, and I just haven't asked Puckett, because I know that if Puckett has something to say, he'll say it, but maybe I should ask him, I don't know, but my personal opinion is that the content that Keemstar makes is not, I don't want to say worthy, but it's just not the best content to help competitive Call of Duty grow, and it actually can corrupt some of what the MLG channel, .TV channel is trying to do. If I'm a sponsor or if I'm looking at investing money in MLG, if they're publicly traded, which I don't know, or if I'm looking at starting a professional team, if I'm ESPN and I'm thinking about picking up, MLG as a potential network or something like that, like ESPN4 or something like that, competitive gaming, and I went and saw DramaAlert, it would actually make me kind of ask the question, like, is this the kind of show you would put on a channel if you had a channel? Like if you think of MLG as a TV station, is DramaAlert the type of show they would feature on their TV station? So that's just, I think not. That's just my personal opinion. Although I've said it before, I respect Keemstar as a content creator because he's an intelligent guy. He knows what people want to see. He gives it to them. Would I give it to him the same way? No, I would not. I wouldn't report that kind of stuff. But that's just my personal opinion on it. And so I know that you have. You had your fair share of tweets about not participating in MLG and the community and stuff like that, and have you changed that opinion a little bit? You said you saw the light when it came to the way that they're doing the stuff with the league and all that. Have you seen the light of Keemstar, or are you still kind of in the same place?
No, I'm in the same place. Like, I just... well, for one thing, I said that, this would make me walk away. I don't think I'll walk away. I like this stuff too much.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I try to build myself up by helping others. You know what I mean? I try to uplift people. I try to look at the good qualities of people.
Yeah.
To me, and I would love to meet the guy, honestly. I think I said this to you earlier when we were talking about it before the show. I said, we would probably hang out and get along just fine.
Yeah.
We would probably have a blast. But the persona that he puts in front of the camera when he's doing this DramaAlert bullcrap is, he spins truths. He just totally blows things out of proportion and highlights the negative in people and in the community. And to me, that's just everything I strive not to be. It's something that, sure, it'll help get viewers. Maybe that's why my YouTube only has, 200 people following. Because I just
not
don't
anymore.
Do that stuff. Yeah, well, maybe we'll see. But it's just not something that it's like TMZ. I don't watch TMZ. I think it's pathetic. You know what I mean? Who follows around movie stars and tries to make them get pissed off so that they have a video? That just, to me, is just messed up beyond words. You know what I mean? And that's why those movie stars get fed up with the paparazzi of things.
Yeah, I agree.
I just am not, and for the life of me, like, I'm speechless when I think about MLG actually wanting to partake in this.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, you really want your viewers, and especially people that want to put money into MLG, to see the negativity that can come from Call of Duty Esports. And to me, that's just ludicrous. That's just asking for Dr. Pepper to pull away, or somebody else, some big sponsor that wants a good reputable name. Like, I'm actually working with a company who's also working with another company to try to get them into esports more, and they're super interested in MLG, and we're trying to, kind of facilitate this partnership. And this company is a multi-billion-dollar company. I mean, it's not like it's not like some of these ones that we have now. It would be like they run TV shows, basically.
Wow.
It's a huge corporation.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid something like that would jeopardize it because they're very worried about image. And,
yeah.
Well, to a certain extent. But
well,
we'll
I 100% agree with you. And I think that the only thing I will say is, and this is my advice to you, same thing, this is why I shouted out in my Keemstar video. I gave a shout out to Golden Boy, which I guess helped him get to 6,000 subs. And I shouted out Gandhi's channel as well. I don't know. I'm sure it's helped. I have some of the greatest subscribers ever. When I ask them to go help somebody, they just go running.
That's cool.
And so you guys help Smitingfatty get over 500 subscribers. Let's just do that. That would be pretty sweet if we could help make that happen. I know 8,000 to 9,000 of you are going to watch this video, so let's help him out. Let's show him some love, because he's got a great channel and puts up great content. And if you want to see some very interesting lag compensation.
Oh, dude, I get so. That's really the only thing that, like, I'll be playing in a game. Oh, I'm having a good day. Then all of a sudden, it's like,
yeah,
so frustrating. That's the only thing that I'll ever highlight negative about the game.
Yeah, and I think
the fact that I shoot 500 times at somebody and then once.
I think what my advice for you is, stay in the game. I'm a lucky guy. I'm pretty blessed. The shout outs I've gotten from Nade and Hex and whoever else, it has really, I didn't ask for any of it. I made a video saying Nadeshot should probably not play competitively after COD Champs, and he still, said he liked my channel and helped me get probably 1,000 followers on Twitter by mentioning me. But, and I stand by that statement that he has such a platform that he could do so much for competitive gaming. Is he good enough to continue playing? Of course. Rambo was good enough to continue playing when he became a coach. And so, and I'll say that to you, is stay in the game. Guys like yourself, guys like Golden Boy, guys like Gandhi, you guys have so much more experience in competitive gaming than I do. I'm a personality on YouTube. I'm interested in it, but I haven't played competitively. I don't even play GBs and all the kind of stuff you do and stuff you show on your channel. This for me is almost like, I don't want to call myself a spectator, but that's basically what I am. And I'm very interested in it. I love talking about it. I love talking to, guys like yourself. And it always shocks me when I see a channel like that, or like Golden Boy's or like Gandhi's that's smaller than mine, and I'm like, okay, this makes no sense. These guys are casters. They are around these pro players. They have great opinions. They've been in the circuit for a long time, and so I hope that my subscribers do help out your channel. I really, 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 really appreciate you coming on, and thank you for coming on, and hopefully this whole thing works out, because I've had such crazy video problems in the past. But if it doesn't work out, I'm going to blame it on Goalie. I'm just going to say it's Goalie TV's fault.
Well, we'll just have a picture or something with the
let's put your face up. And, I might actually, I'm going to ask you after we get off for a picture so we can put on the thumbnail, so people know that you kind of co-casted with me. But I really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully in the future, when you go to an event, you'll let me kind of interview you while you're there or something like that.
Are you going to be going to Niagara? Or?
No, I'm going to try to make Anaheim. That's probably be the first.
Okay, I'll be at Anaheim.
Yeah, that'll probably. I live 12 hours from Anaheim, so that'll probably be the.
Oh,
I can drive down
awesome.
there. That may be
I'm driving too.
My first MLG event. I'm going to reach out to Puckett and see if I can do something for them or something like that. So, I appreciate you coming on, Smitingfatty, and this has been a very long but epic conversation, and I hope my subs love it. And this is your boy Kingdom Soldier. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.